Good morning. I am so tired today. I don't know what happened, but I slept right through. I did wake up a couple times from the dreams I was having. Dreams I was having. Dreams. Plural. Anyway, but I still woke up very tired. Maybe it's because the previous nights I didn't have really good sleep much at all. But anyway, here we are, tea and music, early morning chats. In my favorite Virgo mug, oopsie. And hoping someone jumps on. So yeah, that is hot. Whew. I have decided to spend the majority of my time on YouTube instead of Facebook and TikTok. I have found that TikTok is, I don't know what it is with TikTok, but strange people, man. Strange people on there. Yesterday there was a guy saying, I've got a lion in my pants at like 7 in the morning. He says, I have a line in my pants for you. So I was like, okay, buddy, block, boom. I don't know, people don't really, it's a very different crowd, but anyway. And then Facebook, I thought because Facebook's got all my people, friends and family, that, they would jump onto the live and comment and whatever, but nobody did. So that was quite interesting. Oh, I think I saw two people. I think it was my aunt. I don't know who the other person was because I couldn't see the names. I only saw when it said that it was my aunt. But anyway, so here on YouTube, I find that even though it takes a while for people to come in, it's quite a friendly crowd. It's quite a friendly reception, if I could call it that. So today I want to talk about songwriting, as in my method of songwriting and how I started and how I didn't expect it to be so personal. When I started at first, when I was a teenager, I started with poems. Obviously, I'm a poet, and I started writing poems just to be in the Eisteddfod in school. I don't know what it's called in other countries, but in South Africa we call it Eisteddfod. And so you can enter the poem into the Eisteddfod, and then you can win a prize afterwards, a certificate or whatever. And my one teacher, English teacher, she always used to say to me, you need to enter the Eisteddfod. I was like, I don't want to do that because then people will see my thoughts. And she always said, no, people, that's the point of poetry, is you get to formulate, you just obviously blah your thoughts and then you formulate it, and then people can read it or hear it when someone else recites, and get the message from that. And then they, if it's something that they resonate with, it's theirs. Anyway, so obviously she explained it in a very different way because I was a teen back then. But I don't think it ever hit me back then in terms of how other people would receive my poems. So I just kept writing, and then eventually I entered a poem. I wonder where it is. Oh, I wonder if it's in this file. Let's have a look. It must be in this file. This is a very, look how young I was, yeah? I think I was, 21. Yeah, I think I was 21 or 22 here. Back in the day, that was 2001. Anyway, let me see if I can find that poem in here, because when I entered that poem into the Eisteddfod, I won the cup. And the feedback from the judges the one lady said, "My goodness, you have a lot of pain." And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that you would get pain from this poem. So it's a limerick, a series. So what they said was, choose one topic or one item, that's it. Choose an item in your room and write a series of limericks, 4 limericks based on that item in your room. And I had this bear on my table that my high school boyfriend gave me. And let me just see, I'm so sure I still have it. And it's called The Stuffed Bear. So when I wrote it, because I was like, oh, what am I going to write about? Because I've never written a limerick. I think I was 16 or 17. 16 or 17, I can't remember now. And I was like, what am I going to write about? And the first thing I saw was this bear on my table. And I thought, okay, let me just write about the bear. But like, what do you write? It's obviously got to be creative and not like direct, there's a bear on my table, you know, that type of thing. So I just kind of let my brain flow. And I think they gave us an example of a poem of a lady. I think it's called, is it The Lady in Rider? She rides a tiger, or something like that. I can't remember the whole thing, but that's all I remember. My goodness, this file is full of lyrics, old lyrics and stuff. So let me just see. My goodness, there's stuff here that I haven't looked at in years. It's good that I picked it up because that's going to be quite cool to actually go into as well. The history and whatnot. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff in here that's cool. All right, so this is actually a treasure trove. There's like when I was published as a poet, so that's pretty cool. Here's a bunch of other poems that I have as well. Let's see if it's in this bunch here. Okay, that's not it. Let's see, where are you? Oh, but because it would be so cool to actually read it instead of, oh, here's a bunch of poems as well. I always say, here it is, yay! I always say I really need to sort out this folder, but that's every year, well, every time I look at it. Anyway, so, and I found a bunch of others that I love, my poems. Oh, here's a cute one. That's so funny. Anyway, let's stick this down here. No. There. Okay, so this is the poem. It's called The Stuffed Bear. It goes, there was a stuffed bear on the table. To sing he thought he was able, but with no voice he had no choice and decided to stick to fable. A stuffed bear lying on my bed, a bad thing it was said. For me being old and no stories told, I had to give it to Fred. A package with love it was sent, believed it came from a gent. The stuffed bear inside went for the wrong ride, for me it wasn't meant. There was a young bear from Havana who fell in love with another, but being stuffed, thought he'd been bluffed and had to forget about her. Anyway, so that's I didn't even put a date on it, but I still have the actual, look at that funny font. So, anyway, so I think I was 16 or 17 when I wrote it. And it won me the cup, and the teacher was like, the judge was like, oh my gosh, you've had a lot of pain in your life. And I was just, I don't see the pain, buddy. I just saw a stuffed bear and a story. But looking back, I can see what they meant and what my teacher meant with regards to writing. And I think it's applicable to lyrics as well as poetry. So I think the poet arrives, or the songwriter, or even the painter, or whatnot, or even a movie maker, arrives, not a movie maker, a writer, arrives to the paper with nothing. And you got to kind of dig deep in terms of, but what do you want to say? And I think if you try and say it directly, it loses the essence of the message. But when you start from an angle that's unexpected, or even unplanned, then it kind of creates this whole story and becomes something amazing. And then another poem that I wrote, it's called A Little Bug. It says, creeping all around, making funny sounds, scratching the inside walls and passing through the halls, entering your tummy where butterflies are flying, filling you with joy and laughter, in your mind and heart thereafter, giving you an unknown feeling of sparky flames and crayon beings. Is this perhaps a thing called love, or maybe just a little bug? I wrote that when I was 14, and I don't think I've ever shown anyone this. Yeah, I've never actually shown anyone that. Anyway, so that's one of my favorite poems. And I think this is obviously where it all started, because from there, oh, hello, Ruby. Very funny, very funny. Anyway, so I think that's where where music starts, is with the poetry, and just, you know, we sometimes as poets you don't really plan to rhyme on certain things, and then it kind of just flows, and then from there the poem or the song is created. And I think as a singer, writing the poem and then being able to add a melody to it is quite easy, which helps quite a bit. So that then creates obviously the songs that I started when I was a teenager. And one of the songs that I have is actually called Broken Flower, and that song was a poem to begin with. And when I started, when I formed my first band in my 20s, the guitarist, my friend Vince, he used to say, this is the best song, this is your best song. And it sounded better when we had two acoustic guitars. When I played on my own, it was okay, but I think it came alive adding in that extra guitar with the mood, and the lead guitar, even though it was acoustic, the lead guitar made a massive difference, you know, the way he plays it. So yes, that was pretty awesome. What is going on here? I don't know, some things are popping up here. What are all these things? I don't know what that was. Okay. Anyway, so yes, so I think when I did start writing poetry, it was more a case of it was fun, because as a teenager, you know, when you're at school and they like force you to read certain books and force you to read certain poems, and you know, you have to kind of act on stage and all these things, and I hated that. I hated being seen, obviously because of my childhood, but when I found poetry, I kind of got lost in it, and it was something that I loved, because you could obviously tell a story, but the rhyming part of it, it felt so fun, where you could just play with words and create something that flows and create a story, and be I don't know how to express it, but it's a deep thing. Yes, obviously, music is deep and poetry is deep, but when you're having fun doing it, it doesn't feel like work. Like at school, it's like when they force you to do all these things, you don't want to, because it feels like work. And that's also now I've experienced a lot of the time. If a client wants a song, or if I have to create a melody for someone or something, and it feels like forced work, it's awful. And I end up resenting it, and then I don't want to do it for a long time. So what I've started doing is just, you know, if I get a project in, even a voiceover, if I get a project in, then I kind of let it just sit. And if they say, okay, this genre, or we want this voice or that or whatever, then I have a look at what other people are doing, and then I just sit with it for a while, and then I create from there. Sometimes, yes, I do jump in and just do it as a task, because it is, you know, urgency, there's a deadline. But I don't like doing that because, yes, excuse me, then it just becomes really boring. Oh, here's another poem. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot here. I remember writing a poem when I was 18, my last year of school, and I entered it into the I stayed fit, and it was banned. I wonder if I still have it. The teacher was saying, or was I 17? Because the teacher said someone your age should not know about things like this. And I didn't know about things like that. I just wrote according to what I thought. But anyway, let's see. I don't know if I still have it. Let's see. Is it that? No. Anyway, I'll find it and then I'll make another a video about it. Yeah, here it is. Exposed pleasure. This is such a cool poem. Anyway, I will leave that for another day. It's funny how the teacher was like showing us how to be poets and expressing ourselves. But then when I did, she's like, oh my gosh, you know, people like your kids your age shouldn't know about these things. And then she failed me. Or did she fail me? Oh, it was banned. Yeah, the poem was banned from the I Stayed Fit. I was banned for a year from entering the I Stayed Fit. I was like, okay, whatever. That's fine. I guess it's early morning and a lot of people are not online because it is it Friday? Yes, it's Friday. So everybody's in the Friday mood. They're not in the I hate my week and my job. Let me go online and see what other people are doing mood. So yes, oh, I need to keep that for the others. Yes, anyway. Nobody else online. I guess I will call it a morning. I think Fridays are probably not the best to do lives. Cool. If you've watched this, thank you. If you haven't, obviously they won't know. But have an awesome day.